Hey everybody, I have this book, the Bless You Boys 1984 Tigers World Series book. I just can't find it right now, so I thought that I would start on that before I give you the 62 game update of week 2 of 1984. I can't give you week 1. That's why I'm starting on week 2, because I actually played week 1 last year sometime. So first I'm going to give you highlights, and then I'm going to give you standings, and then some other miscellany. So we're going to start with, sorry about that, we're going to start with Kent Herbeck. This is 1984. I'm doing the entire season. Kent Herbeck plays for the Twins, and in a game against the Yankees, he went 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 doubles, a stolen base, 2 runs scored, and 3 runs batted in. One heck of a game for old Herbie. I'll do hitters, and then I'll do pitchers. So then we've got Jeff Stone. He stole 3 bases in a game against Houston, the Astros. Put him over there. Al Oliver of the Phillies, also in the same game that Jeff Stone stole 3 bases. Al Oliver had the pinch hit walk-off RBI single in the bottom of the 11th. So good for Al Oliver, who should be in the Hall of Fame. We've got Han Solo, Ken Phelps. He plays for the Mariners. In a game against the Red Sox, he went 2 for 3 with a walk, 3 runs, scored a home run, and an RBI. And we've got Jack Clark. Look at that card. I mean, you take off the 24s, and he's all world, and he's close to it anyway. He plays for the Giants. In a game against Pirates, he went 2 for 3 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored, a home run, and 3 runs batted in. And we've got Johnny Ray for the Pirates. Doesn't look like much, but he went 4 for 5 with a run scored, 2 runs batted in, and a stolen base versus the Giants. And in that same game, on the other side of the diamond, Vernon Scott Thompson went 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored and 2 runs batted in. And he leads off. So I'm not quite sure why now, but he does. Okay. Then I'm showing Hal McRae, but because we're going to be talking about him in just a second. But the Royals beat the Orioles in back-to-back games. They won 14-0 with 17 hits and 3 home runs. And in the next game, they won 13-3. So in 2 games against the Orioles, they scored 27 runs. And winning those 2 games, they were actually 0-5 to start the season, the Royals. So, but Hal McRae in game 2 of that had a home run and 4 runs batted in. Honey Bear Rayford, in that game, the 13-run game, George Brett hit his 39, and the runner was out stealing and injured Cal Ripken, interestingly enough. So Honey Bear Rayford came in. I did some maneuvers. That's why he doesn't play short. And Honey Bear here, hitting for the injured Ripken, went 2 for 3 with a home run and 4 RBIs. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, then we've got Greg Walker for the White Sox. In a game versus Cleveland, he went 3 for 4, hit 2 home runs, a double, and 4 runs batted in. Very impressive. Then we've got Willie McGee for the Cardinals. I didn't put down who he played against. My apologies. But he went 3 for 5 with 3 runs, a double, a triple, and he missed the cycle by a home run. Willie McGee, who will, I believe, win the MVP in 1985. And then we have the biggest game of the year so far. This is the biggest game, period. It's Reggie. He's playing for the Angels, and he was playing against the A's in a game where the Angels had 19 hits against the poor Athletics. And Reggie here went 3 for 6 with 2 runs scored, 7 runs batted in, and he missed the cycle by a triple. Reggie. So that's the biggest game of the year so far. Okay, now the only individual Tigers highlight we have, and you're going to see later that they are just a solid full team, is Gibby. He went 3 for 5 with a home run, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base in a win over Texas. And he leads off. Okay. Then we have Jerry Mumphrey for the Astros. I mean, this card is not much, but over against the Reds, he missed the cycle by a home run. So somehow he got a single, a double, and a triple out of this card. Okay. Juan Samuel. Boy, if the guy could field, right? Look at that. He went 4 for 5 with 2 runs, a run batted in, 2 doubles, and two stolen bases in a loss to the Cubs. I'm sorry. I take that back. In a win over the Expos, because in that game, the Phillies stole 4 bases. To come back to that, I didn't put Steve Carlton down. I'll talk about him in a minute. I know he's a pitcher, but Alex Trevino for the Braves hit 3 doubles versus the Cardinals. Okay. And then Hall of Famer Robin Yount for the Brewers, who, by the way, seriously need Paul Molitor. He was injured this year. He went 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored, an RBI, and 2 doubles. I didn't put down who everybody, what they all did. Now, I know this is Bruce Bochy, but we have the A's first. In a game against the Brewers, I think, Ricky Henderson, Dwayne Murphy, Mike Heath, and Mike Davis all hit home runs. So 4 home runs that game. Impressive. Now let's go to the Padres. Bruce Bochy, who plays for the Padres. I wish I'd have put down who they played. Well, this was against Atlanta. He went 4 for 6 with 2 runs scored, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in, and a walk-off single in the 12th. So all-world Bruce Bochy. And then Tony G. You gotta talk about Tony G. The Padres have played 11 games. He had a hit in the first 10. So he started the season with a 10-game hitting streak. And then in game 11, he got stopped. But he rolled the 25-10 against a B with a man on second. So in the first inning, he rolled a hit number, a good one. But because it was a man on second versus a B, it was an out versus the Braves. Boom. All right, now we're going to talk about the Blue Jays a little bit. They won a Donnybrook over the Rangers. It was 12-9. The benches were cleared after 3 hit-by-pitches. One of the hit-by-pitches came after they hit a guy who hit a home run in his previous at-bat. Excuse me. So it was a very wild game. In that game, Dave Collins missed the cycle by a home run. Now, in the next game, the Blue Jays lost to the Rangers in another Donnybrook. And Dave Collins, in back-to-back games, he missed another cycle by a home run. In this game, in game 2, he went 4 for 6 with a run, an RBI, 2 doubles. Oh, and in the first game that he missed the cycle, he also stole a base. So this guy is rolling right now. Pun intended. Then we've got George Vukovic from the Indians. Just in the 10th inning, he hit a walk-off RBI double to beat the Orioles for the Indians. So that's impressive. And that you'll see why that's impressive in a few minutes. Chili Davis for the Giants. He missed the cycle by a triple. He went 3 for 3 with a walk. Okay, and then in a win over the Twins, then the next couple things are from that game. Alvin Davis. This was Rookie of the Year for the American League. Alvin Davis. He went 5 for 6. It's the first 5-hit game of 1984 by anybody. 5 for 6 with 2 runs, a home run, and 6 runs batted in. This is the only thing that's came close to Reggie's game. And then in the same game, Phil Bradley, who leads off, went 4 for 6 with 2 runs and RBI, and he stole 2 bases. And then In that same game for the Twins, Tim Tuffle went 4 for 5 with 2 doubles and 2 runs scored. But somehow the Mariners destroyed the Twins 13-3 that game. And they scored 10 runs in the third on 9 hits, 2 home runs, and a walk, and it was 9 consecutive base runners. So that was insane. We got Dale Murphy from the Braves. Had a 2-run game-winning home run in the top of the 10th to beat the Padres. So that's impressive. Andy Van Slyke from the Cardinals. In a win over the Pirates, he had 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. And then we have Larry Parrish, who, it was funny. He plays for the Rangers. And in a game against the Blue Jays, the Rangers Larry Parrish hits 4th. So in the bottom of the first, the Rangers went single, 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 and then he hit a grand slam. So it's kind of neat that way. Okay, now I'm going to do the pitchers. Let's see. You're going to look at Jerry Mumphrey while I talk about pitchers. Okay, Charlie Leah from the Expos had a 1-hit, 1 unearned run win over the Reds with 11 strikeouts, and he's a BYZ. Then Bud Black for the Royals, he's a BZ, had a 4-hit shutout over the Orioles. I'm going to just hold you here for a second. We need the Phillies for some reason, because I got to show you somebody that I forgot. I wasn't going to do this time. I'm so sorry, everybody. I forgot that I had a pitcher here who actually hit something. Audrey, will you come here, please? Yeah. Okay. My assistant is going to come help me. Then we had Doyle Alexander for the Blue Jays. He had a 5-hit shutout over the A's. He's a BZ. Will you find Steve Carlton for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Then we had, for the Angels, we had Ron Romanek. He's a CZ, and he had a 4-hit shutout over the Brewers. Thank you. Put him here so you can look at him now. I appreciate your help.
Always.
Nolan Ryan, the great Nolan Ryan, is a BXY for the Astros. He had a 13 strikeout, 4-hit shutout win over the Phillies. Boom. Mark Langston for the Mariners is a BX. He took a perfect game into the 4th versus the Red Sox. And then Larry McWilliams for the Pirates, who's a BYZ, took a perfect game, 3.2 innings versus the Giants. I'm going to save Joe Niekro for the end because he has the pitching performance of this. Well, one of them. We have 2. Okay, now we have Ron Davis for the Twins. This is really insane. If you know APBA at all, you see these things here, Y's, and there's X's. Well, Ron Davis has an X. He's a CX for his strikeout rating. And versus... who were they playing? The Twins were playing, I think, the A's. And he struck out a 27 result, which stopped a double play. And then the next, which would have ended the inning. And then the next batter hit the game winner. So him having an X lost the game. Never had something like that before. Okay, now we're getting to Steve Carlton. He had a complete game win over the Cubs. But this card went 3 for 5 with a double, 3 runs, and an RBI. So that's insane, too. Then we have Steve McCaddy from the A's. He's a straight D pitcher. He had a 2-hit shutout over the Angels. He was perfect through 3, and he had a no-hitter through 4. Then we have John Tudor for the Pirates. He's a BYZ. He had a 6-hit shutout over the Cardinals, which is interesting because he would later pitch for the Cardinals, or earlier. And he had 11 strikeouts. Then we have Larry Gura for the Royals, who's another straight D. He had a 5-hit shutout over the Brewers. Marty Bystrom for the Yankees. He's a DY, and he struck out 10 White Sox in 6 1/3 innings and got the win. And now we're going to talk about Joe Niekro, which is probably the pitching performance of the season. I'll leave Carlton there for you. He pitches for Houston, and and he's a straight B, which means no Z. And against the Reds, he faced 29 batters, which is only 2 over the very minimum, which was a one hit, 1 walk shutout. Now that might be, I don't know if that's actually the best pitching performance, because Eric Show in his first start against the Cubs, he's a straight B. He pitches for the Padres. He no-hit the Cubs. A complete game no-hitter. So, okay. Now, some miscellany and then we'll get into some standings. I'm keeping track of strikeouts for Dwight Gooden and Nolan Ryan, and they've both pitched 2 starts. Dwight Gooden is an AXY, and he's had 17 total in 2 starts, and his high game is a 9. Nolan has pitched 2 starts, and he's got 19 strikeouts, 1 game of over 10, and his high game is 13. So that's pretty impressive. Now we're going to get into some stuff. These 2 guys, I am keeping track of their stolen bases. I was supposed to try and do this horizontally. I forgot. Miguel Delaney leads off for the Expos. And they have played 10 games, and he has 11 stolen bases. Jeff Stone hits second for the Phillies, and in 9 games, he has 11 stolen bases. So that's very impressive. Then I'm doing a shortstop comparison. Ozzie Smith for the Cardinals in 10 games has 7 runs scored, 3 runs batted in, a double, 4 walks, and 5 stolen bases, and is hitting .257 with on base of .325 and a slugging of .286. Alan Trammell for the Tigers in 8 games has 6 runs scored, 4 batted in, 2 doubles, a home run, and 1 walk. And he's hitting .212 with a .235 on base and a .364 slugging. And then, who may be the MVP of the American League so far, even though his team is in last, is Cal Ripken Jr. In 8 games, he has 14 hits, 8 runs scored, 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and he's hitting .438 with a .471 on base and a .750 slugging. But really, they all pale to the National League MVP of Rhino Sandberg for the Cubs. The Cubs have 9 games, and I want you to remember that in those 9 games, they were no-hit ones. So basically, all of these numbers I'm about to tell you happened in 8 games. He has 11 runs scored, 2 doubles, no triples yet, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a stolen base. I mean, that's got to be your MVP, especially since you'll see where the Cubs are standing. But that's basically in 8 games. He has 23 runs produced, which is runs plus RBIs minus home runs. So now we're going to look at the standings. Here is the National League East. I guess the 2 Easts, I suppose. The Cubs are in first place. You can see it 6-3. Phillies are 5-4. Expos are 5-5. The Mets are 4-5. The Cardinals and Pirates are both 4-6. And down there, the American League East, the Tigers are 7-1, which if you multiply that by 5, it's 35-5, which is what they famously did. Then the Indians are 6-2. Remember earlier, the Indians had some lucky wins. The Red Sox are 6-3. The Blue Jays are 6-4. Yankees are 5-5. The Brewers are 4-6, and the Orioles are 3-5. So if the Orioles make a run, then Ripken will probably win the AL MVP because it won't be Willie Hernandez. And in the National League, the West, the Padres, who were in the World Series and lost to the Tigers, are 7-4. The Braves are 6-5. Dodgers and Giants have been beating each other's heads in, and they're both 5-5. The Reds are 5-6, and the poor Astros are 4-6. And in the American League West, surprisingly, the Mariners are 7-3. The Mariners are the 3rd best team in baseball. It's weird. The Rangers are 6-4. The Royals, who are supposed to be giving the Tigers hell this year, are 4-6. And then it gets bad. The A's are 4-7. The Angels are 4-8. The Twins are 3-7, and the White Sox are 2-6. That's 1984. I'll leave you on the Tigers. Let me know what you think about 1984. Aside from the Steve Carlton debacle, anything I could do better? I meant to do this horizontally. Maybe next time I will. I forgot. And I will see you soon with an update for my next project, which will be a single team replay in a big project that I will explain next time. So keep rolling, and I will see all of you later.